What's up, guys? Welcome back, man. Welcome back to the Sim Standard Hangout. As you can see, I'm scrambling around trying to get the mic together and all of that other jazz. We here, man. Episode 117. We got a lot to talk about, man. So what I'm definitely going to do, first and foremost, man, let me go to the actual Hangout so I can pull up the chat and all of that, as well as read to you guys some of the topics that we plan to cover. Now, we're definitely grateful. We appreciate it, guys. A lot of you guys actually sent some topics for us to discuss. So I'll go ahead and read it as follows. Where is it here? We're going to talk about, could a career mode like NBA 2K's MyCareer, could it work in Madden? If it could work in Madden, how would that look? How could it be successful in Madden? Another guy I wanted to talk about man coverage. When will it get some real attention? I believe that's PX1 Sports. Mike Peters, I believe he's the guy who asked that question. And then, why are the play rec and awareness ratings the same number for a defender? I don't know if everybody noticed that. And shout outs to Madden Bomber League, one of the guys there. I'm not sure, who actually runs the account. So, if I'm not saying your name, I apologize for that, but you know who you are. He actually brought that to my attention. I had no idea. If you look at the play rec and the awareness on your defenders, it will be the same number. Very interesting. And I got some information, from Dustin Smith as to why that is. I'm checking on more information with Clint just to officially confirm. But I'll go over that as well. So I definitely want to hear the thoughts, from Azul and Smitty, once I, read that information that I have. And then we have some tentative topics, guys. If we run out of time or, if we get through those topics, we'll talk a little bit about the PES 17 demo. Myself, I haven't actually had a chance to try it yet, but, I'll throw that out there. Also, NHL 17. Again, I asked this question before. Why is it that nobody talks about this game? Very interesting. I wonder why it seems to get looked over, so to speak. Don't know why. And then also we'll talk about, our thoughts and impressions on the Battlefield 1 beta. So as you can see, guys, we got a ton of stuff to cover if we get to it. We'll definitely still be relying on you guys in the chat. And you can throw us comments, questions. Come on to the show if you want. If you want to do that, send us your email. We'll bring you right in, and we'll go from there. So y'all know the normal routine, man. Let me go ahead and throw it to Smitty. Smitty, man, how was your week? Football is back. I'm going to be watching it here on the TV. How you feeling about what's going to transpire so far, I guess, coming in this upcoming season of football?
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to, this weekend. I mean, I know that things pop off tonight, but looking forward to see what these Lions do, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I believe that the team is pretty much a wild card at this point, so it'll be real interesting. I really don't have I hate that we had let go of the wide receiver, Jace Billingsley. I really hate that we let him go because he really shown up, and we even let go of Jake Rudolph. Like, I don't like those two cuts specifically, but outside of those two guys, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens after that. But I believe those guys will be brought back on the practice squad. I think they'll just put them on that way. But I don't know, man. I just don't know. I'm very optimistic for the team, and what they, and what hopefully transpires. But with the NFL, that's the beauty of it. Like, you never know what can happen.
Yeah.
So, I'm really, so it'll be exciting. I know these guys open up against the Colts, so, yeah, I can't wait.
Absolutely, man. I cannot wait for football. As you see, I had to run off and go get my Steelers hat, just getting in spirit. I can't wait, man. This is the time of year that I love. Coincidentally, it's the same time of year of gaming that I love. But, yeah, man, AZ, what's going on, man? How was your week, and how you feeling about this upcoming season?
Man, I'm ready. Excuse me, I'm in the car, but hope y'all can hear me.
Yeah, we got you.
Week one, man. We're ready for my Titans to run some exotic smash mouth. and punched the Vikings in the mouth week 1. I don't know, man. We'll see what happens, but I really think that we're gonna surprise some people this year. Just looking at how our offensive line has gelled in the preseason, and the emergence of Tajay Sharp, man, and keeping wide receivers that can actually catch the ball. Our history at wide receiver has not been pretty. Um, we shipped Dorial Green Beckham, cut Justin Hunter, which were expected moves, honestly, because those were guys that were supremely talented athletically, but didn't really necessarily put the time in um, to perfect the craft of route running and having. But as you look at our roster now at wide receiver, we have people, solid possession receivers who can catch the ball. Rashard Matthews, Tajay Sharp, Andre Johnson, Harry Douglas, Kendall Wright. Nobody really jumps out at you. Well, Andre Johnson would, but he's older at this point in his career, and nobody really jumps out at you as on the page. But at the same time, if they can just catch the ball when it's needed to be caught, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7, conversion and keep the defense off the field, man, I think we're gonna surprise some people. So the cuts didn't really surprise me too much. I felt like Bishop Sankey was gonna get cut. Dexter McCluster, I thought he was gonna be the return man, so that one was a little surprising, honestly. But other than that, nothing really too much that I was like just shocked about. We picked up another offensive lineman from the Patriots today, claimed off waivers. So it's some fluctuation going on in the roster right now, but I'm just ready to see how they fare against. And prayers for Teddy Bridgewater and his recovery, man. You hate to see a young player go down like that. And but I think that honestly, no matter who the Vikings play, if we can stop AP, we can get a win week 1. Honestly, I mean, I know that the Vikings do have a great defense, what have you, but they were soft against the run if you look at them. So I don't know, man. We'll see. That's why they play the game, and it's always interesting to see how these games shake out because you never know. Injuries and rosters, cuts always shape a roster, and the depth of your roster is really where games are won. Honestly, depth,
Absolutely.
details of doing the little things, special teams. And I think we're going to be a ball control offense. And that's one of the things that I'm loving doing in Madden 17. For the first time in a while, I'm able to play ball control offense because I got that running game like I like. I got Derrick Henry and DeMarco Murray. I can't wait to start the league, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. I haven't really been playing chess because online people quit. I've had a dude who I scored an opening drive touchdown, 12-play drive. He quit. Like, he was just like, and I said this today on Twitter, it seems like 80%, 75 to 80% of the people who play Madden online have been used to playing it online and cheesy. And now that you can actually exploit matchups and play a brand of football that's representative of the NFL, people are getting exposed. So I can't wait to play chess against the other people in the league because we got some cerebral football guys in our league, and I can't wait to match wits with them, especially in Waikia coming to you, boy, with Jaguars. But
Yeah, you got your Titans again. No Jets.
no Jets. I got my Titans back, and this year is personal. So we got trophies on the line. We got Madden 18 on the line, bragging rights on the line. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, I definitely can't wait to jump into the league, man, and have some fun. I mean, I've told you guys plenty of times here right on the show, the league is very competitive. And I'll be the first to admit, I've had a solid season. In the last few seasons, I've had terrible seasons. Part of it was due to injury, but part of it was due to the opponents that I play. And honestly, man, I don't mind that. I wouldn't mind going, 1 for 15 if it's against quality guys, and they're just playing better. That to me is fun. That's why I love the fishbowl that we have. We always have to, reference that phrase that mad scientists used to always say, swim in your own fishbowl. It's going to be a good time, man, and we'll see what happens. We'll see how I'll do. But like I said, of course you want to win, but even when I have a bad season in our league, I can deal with it because there's guys in there that know what they're doing, guys that can play, guys that I know they didn't cheese me. They didn't do anything like that. They just outplayed me, or I coached the wrong game, or whatever the case, and I'm cool with that. So that's going to be great. In terms of the Steelers, man, I see a guy here in the chat saying, Steelers Packers Super Bowl rematch. I can't go that far with my expectations. I just don't know. Offensively, I mean, come on. I mean, everybody knows that Pittsburgh has the capability of being one of the best offenses that you've ever seen. I know that's a stretch saying ever, but if we had all of the right pieces, could be. But are they going to be a top 5, top 3 offense? Very possible. Even with Le'Veon Bell missing 3 games, even without Martavis Bryant, if Ladarius Green ever gets on the field, it's a lot of ifs. But even without them, I don't know what it is, man. I'm not one of those people that's going to sit here and say Big Ben is the best quarterback. I don't do all of that. Y'all know I'm a football fan first. I love my Steelers, but I'm not super biased when it comes to football. Ben, to me, is just in a zone with that offense, especially when he runs no huddle. I don't know what it is, man. The chemistry that he has with AB is ridiculous. And I just feel like with the pieces that we have, Marcus Wheaton, who can get off when he wants to, showed that against Seattle last year. Eli Rogers, the guy I told y'all about. This dude is probably going to start in the slot. The boy plays like AB. It's crazy. Nobody's AB, but he plays like him. Very shifty, very quick. Footwork is off the charts. Then you got Sammy Coates. Jesse James, which is emerging as a catching, a receiving tight end. Not Heath Miller in terms of blocking. But I'm sure Ladarius Green hopefully will come back at some point. So the offense is cool. And yeah, like Frankie Kozak, I hope I said your name right, man, but he just said, hopefully Big Ben don't get hurt. That's the thing. Last 2 seasons, Ben ain't played 16 games. Let's be honest. So it's a lot of ifs in there, in our division. You got to respect the Ravens. Yeah, they didn't do well last year, but who they beat twice? Pittsburgh. Got to respect Cincinnati now. Cleveland, they haven't earned their respect yet. But you just never know. So I'm not one of those people, we're going to the Super Bowl. Now, I look at the team realistically. Let me go through this real quick, and then we'll jump into our topics. Who do we have in the secondary? William Gay, which solid veteran. You know what he's going to give you. You know his good. You know his bad. Ross Cockrell, second-year man that with the Steelers, as far as second year with us. Played decent last year, but he's coming into his full season with Pittsburgh, full training camp and all that. We'll see. Who's after that? Artie Burns, number 1 draft pick, only played in the Carolina Panthers preseason game. Did well in the game, but only 1 game against backup players. Sinquez Golson, hurt. He won't be back until midseason. We did just get Justin Gilbert. That was a good move. Some people say he's washed up. Listen, y'all know as well as I do. Football sometimes is about your ability and how it will mesh with the system that you're in. Which, side note, which is why I'm so interested in seeing what Josh Norman is going to be in D.C. versus what he was in Carolina. I'm just curious to see what type of guy he really is. Systems mean the world sometimes. Some guys are just freakish athletes. They can play corner, no matter what. Like a Deion Sanders, I know he's the GOAT. When you throw him anywhere, he's just going to be a bad boy. Ain't everybody like that. So the verdict, is still going to be out on Justin Gilbert. Hopefully he helps us out. But let me bring this back into perspective. How long has he been in training camp? He wasn't. Not with us. Excuse me. See what I'm saying? We're talking like 4 corners, man. 5 with 1 hurt. I don't know what the secondary is going to be. Bud Dupree is on injury reserve right now. He was a standout rookie last year at linebacker. Did what Jarvis Jones was supposed to do in his rookie season. Y'all see where I'm going with it? We got a couple pieces in the front, but it's just I don't know what the defense is going to be, man. So I got to be honest about that. We'll see. But that's just my little rant, as far as the Steelers. We'll see what happens, man. Hopefully things gel, everything comes together, and we'll see what's up. So there you have it, guys. But hey, man, let's jump into these topics, guys. And I'm going to actually go off course for a moment. I know we would end up getting back to this at some point about 2K. But Smitty brings up a good point that he told me offline. I want to start off with this, and then I'll throw it to Smitty. Let me give you my thoughts, guys, of what I think 2K17 is going to be. You guys by now know that, I was one of the lucky guys. I have 2 accounts on my PSN. I was told about the New Zealand tip a long time ago. So I have a created account. One is my side account, which is called SimFBallCritic. And I have the prelude on that already. I played it, posted a video, etc., etc. Now, let me say this also. I already have a piece of feedback that I need to offer to the devs. I reached out to Scott O'Gallagher, my boy, and told him, look, man, I got this feedback video. I'm going to post it. I'm just letting you know. And the reason why I want to say that real quick, guys, because I want to always let you guys know how you should give your feedback. Constructive criticism, but do it in a professional manner. I reached out to him and let him know, look, I got some feedback that I'm going to show. Just letting y'all know that. He was like, all right, cool. Out of respect, I'm not going to show it until, it's available to all of us, which Smitty says he thinks it's at midnight. We're not sure, but we know tomorrow everybody will have it. Excuse me. It'll be out. I'll show it then. But I want you to keep this in mind as I get to my point. 2K17 to me is going to be a game full of accessibility and refinements. It's not a bad thing. What I mean by that is improved shot meter, stuff like that, dribbling controls. Passing seems to be a lot better. A little bit of time I spent with it as far as with the analog stick, stuff like that. As far as new and improved, like new stuff, I don't think there's really going to be a lot to see because in the time that I spent with it, I was noticing these little things. I was noticing these little things that they mentioned in the blogs, but nothing jumped off the screen to me. It's going to look very similar to 2K16. But you'll start seeing little details. You'll see these things start to emerge. You'll see how difficult it is with the layup. Now with the the shot meter, there's an actual meter for every shot. You'll see how different it is when guys collide. But keep in mind, I got feedback coming on that very point. I want you guys to remember that. There's some clip issues that's legacy, and I'm going to show it. And that, again, brings my point back to full circle. There's still going to be things in the game, man, that's been there from what I've seen in just an hour or so of playing it. But it felt a lot smoother. Still seems like a game that I'm going to enjoy to play, just like I did with 16. Will it frustrate you at times? I'm sure. But all I'm trying to make the point here, guys, is that Smitty always says it's all about the functionality of a product. How often will this happen as far as clipping and stuff like that, or ball tangibility? How often will the eyesores or negative things, if you will, happen? That's what we need to pay attention to, because if you compare 2K basketball and MLB and all these other games and Madden and all of that, you really have to ask yourselves what games seem to function on a higher or more efficiency, the efficiency rate is higher. Which games do that? Now, Madden 16 to me functioned pretty well, had its flaws, absolutely. But I didn't see as much of the mess on a consistent basis. 17, the verdict is still out because I haven't played much online, but so far, I'm not seeing too many things like repeatedly. See your stuff. But that's going to be the question, man, and I want you guys to definitely pay attention to that when you get your hands on the prelude. I know I'm saying that wrong, but guys, I'm telling you, we need to start looking at it like that, because I'll just say this. My hopes of one of these sports games eliminating clipping and morphing hasn't happened. And it's not happening in 2K17, bro. Y'all gonna see it. I'm gonna drop that video fairly soon. If the prelude is out at midnight, I'll drop it at midnight so y'all can see it. But like I said, I wanted to respect those guys. I don't want to, overshadow what they're doing, anything like that with negativity. Because I'm even stating in the video, this is not to bash. This is for feedback purposes. But y'all will see. But Smitty, man, definitely hit on that point, man, because you do a great job in reference to, talking about functionality and things like that. Because, maybe I talked around it, but you can bring it home. Smitty. All right, looks like Smitty's on mute right now, guys. AZ, you in there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, man, you could probably answer that a little bit. You get my point, right? What I'm saying as far as functionality, how much clipping, morphing, glitches and stuff like that.
I think that just holds true for games that are developed yearly now.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to see too many visual differences until you actually get into the nuances of the game. Because, truth be told, you can look at Madden 16 and say that it looks like 17, but if you actually played it, it's not. So I just think people will need to get their hands on it. And 2K, basically, like you said, took it down. It was available if you had a New Zealand or out-of-country account, but once they took it down, then there's no more. So I actually looked for it for a second, and I just thought that maybe I just couldn't find it. But if they took it down, then that makes perfect sense. But I don't know, man. I think people should give constructive feedback, though, even on something as small as the prelude, because to me that goes a long way in the first patch. And we saw that with Madden and things that were cleaned up. And you have people who say, why didn't quality QA find this, quality assurance? It's some stuff that you just won't find until everybody plays it.
Right.
And there's no way to catch everything. Like some stuff is just going to slip through the cracks. It's human error. And some stuff, like I said, just won't be replicated until you play another person. And that's why I always say when we go down to community day, I like to play against another person, because honestly, playing offline against a computer feels great. But what happens when two people are putting in input and two animations trigger that shouldn't have, or vice versa, matching animations or anything of that along those lines. So that's why I always say it only matters to me how it plays against another person or how it plays online. Because, to be honest, if you played 2K16, 15, Madden 15, 25, Madden 16, 17 offline, you can enjoy yourself as long as you want to. But what happens when you play online? So, and to Madden's credit, online has been very solid this year. I haven't run across issues that I'm just like, man, I don't know if I could deal with this. Even when I played somebody who was cheesy, once I figured out what they were doing and used the defensive techniques in there to stop it, or the offensive techniques to beat the defense, then I didn't have any problems. Because basically what you do is once you find it, keep doing it. You're not playing in a league. We have league rules that prohibits that kind of play.
Right.
You got a guy that's running cover 4 on you, or he's dropping quarters on you, run a dive on him, or run a trap on him. continue to beat him up with the same play until he comes out of that defensive or offensive look. So, we'll see what happens with 2K, but I think it's best served to give feedback when playing another person. Because to me, that's when you get the real value of what the game is, playing against another person, because they develop these games to be played against the computer, and they play beautifully against the computer. But head to head might be another story. So.
Absolutely, man. That was a great point, and I'm glad you pointed that out with the online stuff, because some people might watch a video, like say if I post a vid, which I'll be doing plenty of them with the all Steelers ultimate team I'm trying to build. You might see from time to time I'm in the same defense, but why am I? Is because this guy that's playing freestyle is running the same play, and I found the play that stops him, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing this until you figure this out. And that's what you got to do sometimes, and it works. And like Azua said, online to me so far feels pretty good. Not seeing too much craziness. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not seeing a whole lot of the nonsense that I've seen in the past. The game represents itself pretty well online. I have seen a couple shifts, particularly on the O-line, like the quarterback is rolling out and you'll see the tackle kind of shift over to the end. That kind of stuff got to go, man. But outside of that, I'm not seeing anything that's groundbreaking or game-breaking, I guess I would say, that's really affecting the actual play. And that's good, because I agree with Azul 100%. You play Madden 17 against the computer, especially, all-pro default or even all Madden with sliders, the game plays pretty daggone good. Pass rush and everything. But when you play another user is the real test, because, that's when you really can see what's going on. Are glitches still popping up? Can I shut somebody down? Et cetera, et cetera. But
to me, that's the only. I'm not going to say the only, but one of the problems that I have with the game now is just the warping. And all that is animations matching to each other. That's one of my, major problems that I have with the game right now. Like you said, if I beat beat an offensive lineman, and then the game shifts me back in front of him, or, a wide receiver was not in position to make a catch, and they magically make the difference, and that kind of stuff. That's one of my main issues with how the game plays. Other than that, man, it's a fantastic game, honestly. So
it is, man. I mean, just some of the interactions that I'm seeing, like I've capped some of it. It's a lot of stuff I haven't even shown yet. Y'all know me, man. I try to be. I'm not even gonna say try. I am in my opinion, I'm very equal opportunity when it comes to criticizing and stuff like that. And even with the film study stuff that I'm doing, I'm capping a little plays here, breaking it down, and I try to keep it balanced. But just so happen, a lot of the clips that I'm finding right now are positive plays, and I'll point out some things within that play, but I haven't run across too many ridiculous things that I need to break down as an error. But man, when you play the game and just and this is another tip, AZ. I don't know if you know this or not. Speaking with Clint and Rex, they actually said that playing the game between 5 and 8 minute quarters gives the more realistic stats or scores and outcomes. And I found that interesting. So now I'm going to probably do my offline CFM. I'm going to start it when the new roster comes out tomorrow. Probably 8 minute quarters, and I'll probably do no acceleration clock to still try to make the game a little long. But I found that to be interesting, man, because all of these years people always try to do 12-minute quarters with 10-second runoff or 15-minute quarters or whatever, and they said it's programmed that way. Between 5 and 8 is going to give you the most realistic stats or what have you. So that's very interesting. But yeah, man. not having too many problems with it outside of the obvious things that we know need to be fixed. But man, staying along those lines, man, I guess we can go ahead and tackle the first topic, and I'll ask you first, man. Do you think, number one, does Madden need a career mode similar to a My Player that 2K has? And if so, how do you think that needs to look, or how does it need to be presented in Madden in order for it to work?
Uh, I have mixed feelings about it, man, because honestly, I don't, CFM is still not where I want it to be. So for them to venture into my career or, you know, my player type of thing, it, to me, it would take away from CFM. I don't know. This is just my thoughts, and it might not be how it actually is, but I know we know how much development um, and development time is put into everything that they do in this game. So, and to me, if you're gonna do a my career mode, you got to do it right. I mean, to me, I get tired. 2K has shown maybe the blueprint for it, but at the same time, it's such a linear story that once it's on YouTube, I don't even care about it anymore, honestly. I mean, once you see, you know, 2 or 3 YouTubers put out some cutscenes, it kind of ruins it. You know what I mean? Kind of ruins the experience. So, to me, if they were going to do one, they need to do something that's dynamic. Now, I know 2K17 is supposedly having something that based on the decisions that you make, you can get different outcomes. But to me, I don't know, man. I would have loved to see them connect with NCAA and carry that story from NCAA on to Madden. And since NCAA is no more, you kind of lose that element of, okay, well, I can take a guy through 2 different games. And that, to me, is when you would really be connecting a story. You know what I mean? If you had the little Kirk Herbstreit breakdown of scouting you in high school and from high school to college and college to Madden, that's football universe that I've talked about before that I wanted to see and we wanted to connect. That's why I'm so angry that the pre-draft editing is gone. Like that would have added an element of NCAA that we're just currently missing right now. Even with the rookies that are put in um, to the game with the scouting that we spend on them, it has to be much more than unlocking the letter grade or unlocking combine grades. Like there's no real connection, even with the stories that are in there, the branching storylines in the draft. Nobody really pays attention to them anymore. We had that first year when we thought it was cool, but now it's kind of like, yeah, who cares? Just give me this guy who can run this speed and has these attributes and these traits or this development skill. So it's getting to the point now. I don't know where they would go with it, but we'll see. I would want it to look um, honestly a little similar to what 2K has done in their space, in that you kind of see um, different levels. Like when you go to practice, it looks different. It's nothing off the plan. And to me, CFM doesn't really have the space um, right now to duplicate what 2K is doing. Man. I don't know. But I'll pass it to Smitty or pass it back to you. You can set it up for him and get his thoughts.
Yeah, I'll throw the question to Smitty. I know he missed the first part. And just to catch you up, Smitty, because I want to get your take on this as well, so maybe you can merge them together. I was asking the question about the thing that you always talk about, letting people know that it comes down to efficiency with these games. They all have their issues. I told people you could probably see a little bit of it in the gameplay I posted. There's some legacy issues I still see in 2K17 that were in 16. One of the main things being clipping and stuff like that. You guys will see that later. I'm going to show you that. But at the same time, because they all share that problem, we talked about today on Twitter industry-wide issues. It really comes down to what company is more efficient, or the game functions at a higher rate and reduces the chances or frequency of those things. So I want you to touch on that. But specifically, what the question was just now, does Madden, I'm not going to say do they, yeah, I will say that. Does Madden need a career mode like a My Player for Madden? And if so, how would they need to implement it in order for it to work? Or will it even work in a football product?
Yeah, they could do a career mode in it. I mean, because honestly, if you look at what NBA 2K is doing, it's no different than what was done back in Madden '06 Superstar mode. You had schedules, you had, media events you could do. Like, you're basically building rapport with other NBA players while going through your season. Now, the difference is, they have the little, they have story snippets and everything and details that you go through. But, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'd rather it be like how it is in FIFA, because there is no true script. And I'm not talking about FIFA 17, because they went fully scripted story. What I'm talking about is how it was prior to that. It was basically what's going on in the league and your impact within it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and that's somewhat similar to what you had with Madden '06 with the Superstar mode, because there was no scripted sequence, and within how it played out. Like, you had the opportunity cost basically with what you did. You could go practice, or you could do this commercial. You can participate in film study, or you can take a movie role, like what D is up here saying in the chat here. I mean, you had some options in there. You see what I'm saying? But as far as a career mode, I'd rather it be more of a organic kind of deal, like I said, where it's just you're the player, you're inserted into the league, and things fall where they may. Like, and this is what I said about NBA 2K. I would like to see 2K, or even, if Live does return, I mean, I know they have this slated to, but if Live does return, I would love to have the international teams and have it where you can actually be a second round draft choice. You know what I mean? Because you're nobody. Nobody know, like, and I'm talking about when you create a player, he is not an NBA player. He is not a real NBA player. So what I'm saying is, you have to make an impact in terms of making it in the real NBA, right? Just like if you do My League, look at all the options that they gave you. You can actually have the player union meet and make decisions on, various aspects in the game. You can expand the number of teams that are in the league as well. And, and you have the draft and the schedules that get built out around all that. See, it's not like they're just saying, okay, move the NBA over and we're just going to let them in. It's like they have to fit those teams into what's already going on in the NBA. That's how it needs to be with a My Player. It's not the NBA is just going to, let's move out of the way and let this guy in. Like, no, you have to make the break. You have to make it. So if you build your player and he's not doing good because he's limited in terms of stats or whatever, and they take the whole VC element out of it, which they really need to do, to be quite honest. You take that VC element out of that mode, now you're going to see dudes playing overseas, second-round draft choices. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys going to teams that won't be as desirable, and they won't be on point. They won't be these on-point players that basically go through college and pretty much ball out. Like, it shouldn't be that way. So you make it that kind of an organic game. I mean, look, 2K doing all that intricate stuff with My League. I don't see why they can't do that with my player. Get that whole story element out of the way and actually, like, I mean, no, if you're going to have that story element, have multiple endings. You know what I'm saying? Have it where your guy does great and he ends up, he gets projected high. Have it where he's projected middle. Have it where he's projected low and even undrafted. You know what I'm saying? You may not do that well. If you try to play and be a like you want to be a top, you want to be you end up being a average player on the team you play on or whatever, and you don't end up putting up the numbers because the AI actually plays a lot smarter. I mean, I seen Sim playing the game, and it keeps on playing to that same storyline of you're going to be the superstar. Everybody else is going to look like scrubs, but you're going to look like the smartest player in the world on the court. They need to get off of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need to make it where it's legit. It's a shared distribution. You're a collegiate player. Everybody's not LeBron James coming out of college. And that's essentially what 2K allows you to be when you come out of college. In that, in the game or whatever. It needs to be more of a tough challenge and a realistic challenge. Don't give all this depth and be like, oh no, we're gonna put you on a direct beeline to get there. No, make these dudes play overseas. Have to play an overseas squad. You know what I'm saying? And then implement the summer league teams. Implement the summer league and have you, try and make it. Yo, my agent hit me up. You can even have a cut scene for it at some point. And it won't be the same for everybody, but you can have it where you did legitimate performance. You end up getting called up. You get to go to a summer league game, and you try to make the squad. You know what I'm saying? At least within those first few years or what have you. You try to make the team. You try to make a team. It may not even be the most desirable squad. The squad you may make it on may mess around, and you may come off the bench and only play 5-6 minutes a pop that first or second season. See what I'm saying? Make it real. Make it a truly organic experience where everybody's not going to win. And then I promise you, that right there would be the ultimate sim experience right there, because you're going to mess around and play and be like, dang, you know what, man, this is tough. What team am I going to fit on? What team is like you're going to have your, like I said, favorite YouTubers on or offline. You're going to have people having to actually play on teams that they actually would fit on instead of just, I'm going to go to, for example, I'm going to go to Golden State and I'm going to fit right in there with that whole rotation they got. No. You're going to go to the Denver Nuggets, or you're going to go to, you know what I'm saying? Or you're going to go to the Sixers, or you're going to go to the Pistons, or you're going to go, you see what I'm saying? You're going to go somewhere else where you're going to have to actually look and actually go to a team where your skill set actually fits, not just because I want to be this guy on this squad, I'm going to go over here. That is the ultimate simulation. So until 2K does something like that, it's not where it truly needs to be. It's going to be this system where you're always going to be able to win. And that's not how it should be. And that's the problem I have with these my player scripted, stories, because FIFA more than likely is going to be the same deal there. You're gonna get put through and you're just gonna come out victorious. Oh yeah, you're gonna get that contract and get that deal. They have all those leagues. They have all that licensing in there. Man, you should make it the ultimate uphill climb to make it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you can have this, like I said, you can have the scripted sequences, but don't don't make it so that everybody can just go down that same road and they're good. It shouldn't be that way, man. It needs to be way tougher. But the other part from what you were saying about the innovative efficiency, this last thing that I'll say about this is what I'll say about that real quick. I mean, I did a video on that years ago, and just last night I was playing the PES demo again. I popped that in. I loaded that up and played. It's clean. It's very clean. And I'm looking forward to playing FIFA on EA Access when that drops.
I need to download that past demo now that you say that while the game here is on, because I haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, and I'm downloading the NHL 17 demo. My dude Bills told me that the gameplay is a lot tighter since the beta. So I would definitely want to check it out. And he said the slider sets in there are ridiculous in terms of how extensive they go. So I'm like, okay, I want to check it out. So, but the point is that these games don't have, well, at least as far as I know, because I don't pay attention to the full depth like that across the board for those games. But the point is that if PES and FIFA and NHL can get this clean gameplay and then just build these things out around it, 2K has to have that same core, because that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if you have 11 commentators, you can have 200 commentators. You can even start doing some radio broadcast commentators as well for every single NBA city in the game. It don't matter if the gameplay at its core is not on point. Because if you got all this extra stuff on point, the core gameplay better be tight. Like, that's all there is to it. You know what I'm saying? So if it's not as tight as it should be, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a serious problem. And I mean, like I said, PES is a great game. Like, looking at that, playing the demo, it's a great game. And I mean, what I'll say is this, and I'll just end it with this to throw it back to you. I'm not saying 2K is bad. All right. I'm not saying that, 2K17 is going to be this bad game. I have no idea. I don't take the footage people, have seen. I take all that with a grain of salt. That isn't going to mean a single thing until I actually play. I'll play it firsthand. But what I'm saying is that I'll hold them to that standard, because they're supposed to be the pinnacle of getting that simulation experience. And it's like they keep dropping the ball on the most simplistic aspects of the game. Whereas these other games, FIFA and PES and all that, yeah, they have morphing, they have shifts and stuff like that happen, but they're so subtle, it doesn't impact your game like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, it may impact it in certain instances, like, ball morphs and all that, but is it nearly as feverish as we see in 2K? No way. And that's what I'm saying. Is 2K really going to reduce that gap? Is it truly going to be closed down? Because I know that people are going to buy the game because of the hype machine. They got videos rolling out dang near every single day. But see, what's jacked up? And I mean, look, EA Game Face went through their same issues. They had their hiccups too with the Game Face HD at first. But the crazy part is that you have this app. You allow people to get it and download it, because I downloaded it too. And you can't even scan yourself until you have the demo. Like, you actually have to have the demo and be able to play through it before you can actually scan your face in there. So it was like we were misinformed on that. Now, how's the functionality of this going to be? Because if the functionality of that app is not on point, that's going to be a serious problem. Like, I saw iPod King Carter. He was doing a rant video at work at his job, talking about that. You know what I'm saying? He's like, man, we all had the app on iOS, Android, and we couldn't do anything with it because we're not, you know what I'm saying?
Nothing.
Because we don't have the beta. I mean, we don't have the demo, and he at work and everybody else getting down on it. Now, mind you, iPod, I think he was at the 2K team up. See what I'm saying? So, see, this is what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all got to have y'all stuff tight for real, because that's not a good look. So I seriously hope that this app does work. Because, I mean, like I said, EA had their issues with it. So I wouldn't be surprised if 2K had their problems with it too. So we'll see what happens. But, but that's all I got to say in terms of it right now, man. I'll throw it back to you, Sam.
Man, Smitty hit so many things on the head. Like, there's really nothing to follow. Before I give my quick thoughts on the career thing, I wanna point this out. I know most of you guys are probably watching this game. Now I have the sound down. I'm not even hearing it, but I want to say two quick things that must be in Madden. First of all, I agree with everything Smitty said about the career stuff. But looking at this game, You got this guy Simeon. They said a stat came up and said he's the first quarterback to open as the starter for a champion that has never thrown an NFL pass. So what that said to me is, wow, composure. He never been in this situation. We need something in the game where he's not really sure yet. So what did they do? They came out, they threw the ball like 3 times in a row. Quick short passes, got him in a nice rhythm, threw a nice screen pass. He's looking confident. He got hit on a blitz. Coleman hit him right as the ball left. After that, he threw a couple bad passes. And then you can kind of see in his eyes, he's still trying to get it together, still trying to figure it out. That's what we need in Madden. I need some type of component on field where if this guy hasn't practiced, he's new, he's thrown into the starting role, all of this stuff needs to affect gameplay. And some people would say, Sam, you might be crazy, that's too much to ask for. No, it's not. Because just like in CFM now, when they get hurt, right, with the big decisions, if you bring them back early, you're seeing these wide point margins that's hit to their ratings. You could do the same thing. You know, I don't know how they could do it, but there's got to be ways to make this stuff reflective in the game. And not just Madden, all of these games. Now let me go to Smitty's point. Same thing, I agree with Smitty. And if y'all saw my video, I was out there cooking. But you know why? And I even said it in the video. You know, maybe this is happening because my player is so focused on you being the guy. Which is, I guess is cool, but at the end of the day, hardcore sim guys, like most of us, I want to see the struggle. Like Smitty said, maybe I try and I go out there and I don't do good. Now they like, hey man, ain't no big school trying to give you a chance. You might have to go to a JUCO, do this, or there's opportunities for you to go overseas. Like imagine if, now granted, I know that would be a lot to implement, but I think it's fair to say if they would have started thinking about that from like year 1 or year 2 of my player, we'd probably be there by now. And this is what we're saying. We need to expand my player. And I'm going to get into it this year, like I said in the video, you know, for YouTube reasons and things like that. I mean, I know a lot of people that watch my channel are not just you guys. A lot of people want to see me do more stuff. So I'm going to, you know, I'm going to entertain these guys. And I was going to do a Madden player, but Madden is just simply not immersive enough as a player. I'm sorry. Can't do it. But anyway, in order for it to work in Madden, I want to see them go along the lines like Azua said. From college, you know, I mean from high school to college, like take that story that you had with the Road to Glory situation, figure that out some kind of way, and then go into the NFL. But then let's incorporate some of Smitty's stuff. What if you're just not good enough? I want to see that story also. Hey, sorry, you didn't make it. You tried junior college. You tried going to a big school. You tried walking on. You tried being an undrafted free agent, and all of that. So my last point I would say with that to that, and we'll move on, is I don't like the story part either, Smitty. I mean, of course, we haven't seen it yet, and it looks phenomenal from what I've played. With, you know, Michael B. Jordan, shout outs to him in the intro. You guys will see all that. I didn't want to show that in the video because I don't want to do the spoiler like that. But it looks pretty good. The acting sounds great. Bravo. But when it comes down to the game, I still feel like it's going to be a frequency vibration situation. And that's, come on, man. That is so tired. I don't want that. That's my biggest knock on the MyCareer, even though my video stated, and I still will say this, 2K is the king right now of MyCareer, and what I meant in that title is capturing the immersion and all of these different things you can do, but yet, as we've said here tonight, there's still so much more that they could do. So Smitty and Azul, I say this to you as well. I'm gonna be looking very closely, man, to what FIFA does, because I want to see how this story pans out, because just my suspicion, if Madden goes that route as well, it's probably going to be similar to what FIFA's doing. I mean, it just makes sense. Maybe
Yeah.
not, but so I'm gonna be keeping a close eye on that FIFA, journey mode or whatever they call it, and see how they're doing that. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and move to the next topic. I'll throw it to you, AZ. Well, Smitty, I'll come back to you, and then we'll go back to AZ. So, man coverage, and I believe this was Majesty that sent me this, if I'm not mistaken. When will man coverage get some real attention? I know we touched this a little bit last week. I know we can't answer that, but we can give our general thoughts. It definitely needs a little work. We've heard from MyCareer and guys like that, DSK, corner routes and stuff like that. And here's just my opinion on what needs to be done. I've shared this with A-Dub. I'm hoping it's something that happens next year. What I'm hoping is, this is just my speculation. I know sometimes, guys, I try to walk y'all down a path and let y'all figure it out. This one here is pure speculation. A-Dub said that they'll be working on more of the deep zones next year, which means they don't have short zones and all that stuff to work on, underneath stuff. I'm hoping what's going to happen is they'll be working on those deep zones and man coverage. Makes sense to me. Doing like both of them together. This is what I hope. The things that I feel like needs to really happen, there needs to be a fight from the word hut or go or hike from off that line all the way through the catch point or the non-catch point. The non-catch point would be the ball wasn't thrown your way, but the DB don't know that. So it needs to be, we need to see that physicality. Some guys are not going to be as physical, which is something we need also. Differentiate guys' skills. That's a whole nother topic, but y'all know where I'm going with that. But we need to see from start to finish fighting for position, playing this side of the shoulder, pushing them this way, big boying him, because you just a big guy. Like remember that time when Brandon Browner was checking, I think it was Browner, or it might have been Cam Chancellor. I don't remember which one it was, but remember when they was, oh, look at Kelvin Benjamin getting big out there. I like that. That's Florida, the Florida State, so I got to big up him right there. But anyway, guys, think about that game. I know y'all remember when he was on, one of them was on Grunk. I don't remember which guy it was. But they was being physical with this dude. They was banging with him. And it kind of took him out of the game. You can't do that in Madden. You can't even press the tight end in Madden. So that brings me to that point. Every single route needs to be bumpable. If I choose to get up on the line and bump this guy, every daggone route that's in that game, I need to be able to attempt to bump him. Now, whether I'm successful or not will be determined on the DB that I'm facing, size, weight, matter, etc., etc. But I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say. It definitely is lacking in that regard. Man coverage just is a hit or miss in my opinion. Sometimes it seems to work. Sometimes it just doesn't. And the problem is, it's not how often it works or doesn't work, is we don't know why it's happening. We don't have a clear definition in the rating, and we clearly don't see it in the game. Sometimes you do see guys win the press, but y'all know what I'm saying. You don't really see why this time he's covering him much better. It's not because he's in better position. It just needs an overhaul, man, and I'm hoping next year is going to be when we see that. But Smitty, man, what you got to say on that?
Yeah, that's pretty much, that's the sentiment that I have in regards to it. I feel that, in my opinion, that would be the next step of the evolution as far as that secondary play. Because look at what they did with the zone. It took them a good minute, progressively working on the zone play system and seeing how that they worked on the player movement in general a little bit. So it just, like I said, I just believe that what's going to end up happening is that when it comes to the next, just thinking about it ahead, looking at the game and what they have going on right now with the zone coverage. Okay, what do you think that they'll be able to do the next game? I believe it'll be more zone coverage, more elaborating on how that functions. and possibly some more zone types. But then along with those zone types, definitely getting into the man coverage aspect. And even branching things, and what I would think of is like branching things out as far as players breaking out of those zones and covering man, and going, going from straight coverage to man. Seeing that happen a bit more often, seeing the logic be, elaborated on and broadened. So that's essentially, where, like I said, that's essentially where my feelings lie in regards to that at this point. So I really don't have, much of anything else. And then plus, just thinking of the interviews from from A-Dub and everything, like just listening to those guys, if you pay attention to what those guys got going on already, and then just like I said, paying attention to the interviews, it just sounds like the writing is somewhat on the wall. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, if you just pay attention to what they're even telling you, some things just make sense in terms of what they're doing. Like, they may be addressing A and B, but that doesn't mean C. C may be part of the package.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. I think it'll be interesting, especially, and this is the main thing we got to understand here, guys. This is the other point that I meant to touch on too. I didn't even say this in my stream, and I forgot to say it. Esports is the equalizer here.
Yeah.
Okay. So especially us, we complain about the man coverage, and we talk about how the man coverage and what the problems are with it and everything. That's gonna open up that door and be like, okay, yeah, we need to get this next. Because what I'm seeing in these tournaments, or what I'm seeing people post online is, excuse me, is this, that, and the third. And they need to get that stuff correct. So that's going to be the next, aspect in terms of evolution. And then even with NBA 2K, with 2K17, like I said, I haven't played the prelude. They took it off the marketplace before I can actually get into it, so I won't be able to until everybody else has it or what have you. But I definitely could take Sim's word for I know his gameplay. I've seen his gameplay, and he knows how to play the game. But if I'm seeing, like I was saying about the story, it's more of a frequency vibrations, except this time your name's what? President or whatever, or Prez or whatever.
Something like that. They call him Prez, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, so you're doing a similar kind of setup in that regard, but I'm not going to hold the whole weight of the world on that, on MyCareer. What I am going to hold it on, though, is when it comes to the core gameplay integrity and seeing how you're saying that, well, we're putting it all on the user this year. All right, bet. And that's what I really want to see. I want to see it put on me. If I get dunked on, or if I dunk on them, I want it, like what Sim always says, I want them to just go up. Go up for the dunk. If he gets blocked or he gets knocked out the sky, okay, then he gets knocked down. But that's what he tried to do. That was his intent, was to go up and punch it, not go up and get his shot augmented unrealistically by some nonsense. So that's why I really can't wait. I really can't wait to see how it looks. So I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, and by the way, before I throw it to AZ, I also, just like I got a negative feedback clip, I also have a beautiful clip that I'm going to show, this interaction where I got charged for reaching, and it was beautiful. I can't deny it. I mean, you saw my hand hit his arm, and the way y'all will see. So it goes back to efficiency again. We keep coming back to that. AZ, man, I know it's been a minute. It seems like me and Smithy been doing all the talking.
No.
But what you got on that, man? The man coverage thing, man. I mean, what needs to happen?
I'm not even worried about it, honestly, because we've seen that we're in good hands with A-Dub, Clinton, Rex, and if they say it's going to be worked on, it's going to be worked on.
Right.
And people were pretty pleased with how the zone play turned out this year, and gap integrity and all that stuff. So if that was, the year one installation of it, and they get to that stuff next year, so be it. I mean, in the meantime, I'm not really having too many problems where I'm like, oh my gosh. To me, if you want to run man coverage the whole game, that's on you. And you keep getting beat off that, then maybe you shouldn't run man coverage the whole game. To me, I only think that people are complaining about stuff that they want to do the entire game. Um, for instance, when oh look at that big hit,
Yeah,
he depleted that man.
beautiful.
For instance, if you can't stop the run, it's not. You need to look at your personnel and look at the play that you're calling. It's not that the game is broken if you can't stop the run. Oh, I keep giving up the run. Well, who do you have out there defending the run? That's what I'm saying. Like matchups, personnel, attributes, traits, all this stuff matters. So people shouldn't be so quick to be like, "Yo, man coverage is terrible." Really? Get a true elite. How many elite corners are there in the league that just man up every play?
Good point, Az.
Yeah.
So it's the simple fact that you you don't really have defenders like that. So I mean, I don't know. We'll see. But as far as 2K goes, um, I don't know, man. I'm with Smitty. It's more about the gameplay now. They've shown that they can and will be the king of cutscenes and telling stories and all that stuff. But like you said, you get the whole frequency vibrations um, vibe from this whole new story. It's just you called the president of basketball now. People call you Prez. And I can already tell you right now, I probably could have written this story. What's going to happen is you're going to start getting endorsements, and your teammate, Michael B. Jordan, going to start to resent you. And then y'all going to get traded. Y'all going to become rivals. And then you got the whole, what was dude's name? Jackson. You remember
Oh yeah.
it was
Oh yeah,
Jackson.
they already did that.
Yeah, so I mean, so it's gonna be going back to that. He gonna become your rival, all this kind of stuff. Then he gonna be matched up on you. Then that's a whole nother little storyline. So I know, man. To me, great stuff, but it just matters about gameplay. All I care right about, honestly, with sports games is, do I feel cheated when I'm beat, or was I cheated or exploited on to be beat? And if not, like Sim said earlier, I can take a loss to a guy who is actually better than me. If you better play calling, better personnel, and you execute better, hey, hats off to you. But if you cheating the game and exploiting speed, turbo boosting on NBA 2K, I think whatever speed boost glitch they had going on towards the end of the year, or creating monster my players, monstars from Space Jam, like I I don't want to have anything to do with that because that's not fun. And like Smitty said, it's a pipe dream, and they'll never do it. Just like Madden would not go away from MUT, but VC has ruined their my player experience, ruined it. And until they just say, okay, we're gonna separate these two things. For online, no VC. Offline, VC. You can do as much as you want. And until they separate those things, which they won't, because they're making money, hand over fist. And we have individuals who said to me, "Oh man, I don't have such and such time to be playing a game. I just want to buy my players so I can go out there and play," which is
Right.
understandable and
Hmm.
cool for people who had that approach. But to me, I'd rather start as far as how FIFA does it, um, with an offline player and an online player. And as far as, oh wow,
Wow. You saw that, right?
wow, oh that's cheese and Madden though. But anyway, anyway, but I just care about how it is competitively. Can I play the game competitively? Um, and exploits are being taken care of. Even if they said, they said this before, honestly, but they said this year they got hot fixes for cheesers. So what that means is they can go in if something's being seen as a problem, they can go in and fix it on the run. Continuous development like Madden EA has, and we've heard that before. I want to see if it's true. So
Absolutely.
the gameplay is all that really matters, man. at the end of the day. You can do all the cutscenes and get all the voice acting you want, but if the gameplay remains the same and it's not progressive, and like Smitty said and Sim has said, if I want to go up for a dunk, you know, and I get blocked, let it be a block. Don't force me into animations. And the problem with 2K is it has so many beautiful animations that people just get caught up in them. But at the same time, it's not about, maybe 2K17 will be about user skill over just I triggered an animation. Or I came into the paint and just pressed square and Derrick Rose did this amazing layup for me. Where's the user skill in that? So
Yep.
we'll see, what happens. I'm very interested to get my hands on it tomorrow and see how it plays out. But all I care about is running competitive, honestly. If it was me, Sim, and Smitty, and I said, yo, let's just play Pro-Am, and we get out there and we using basketball IQ and able to beat people, great. That's all I care about. Over somebody, let me go to 3 centimeters in the corner and choose jump shot number 14, release 18 is going in cash.
Right.
See, that kind of stuff got to go. So, to me, if they address that type of stuff, I'm rolling with it. But as you can see, it's always a point where people create their my players of a sweet spot. So if they were able to eliminate or create weaknesses in my players, then I'm on board with them. But if they weren't able to create weaknesses and people can just say, for instance, oh, I'm gonna create a sharpshooter.
That was a late hit, ref.
Yeah, it was. I'm gonna create a sharpshooting point guard, and he gonna be able to play defense too, and he gonna be able to 99 dunk. No, if they, I mean, the stuff that I've seen, it doesn't look like that, but it didn't look like that for 16 either. So we'll see.
And see, this is the other thing too. And I'm just like, we talk about the community interaction aspect of this. When it comes to the devs, all that, we see, it's obvious we've seen it with Madden and how they interact, whether it's positive or negative, okay? But I had tweeted a video. This was like, before the show had started. I tweeted out a video just basically letting them know somebody, excuse me, and shout out to Lot Mob because it was somebody who tweeted this Lot Mob, man. Basically, someone made a video already talking about like they figured they're already plotting in terms of figuring out like this is a sweet spot for creation. And they're talking about for this 2K17. I tweet the devs and I'm saying, yo, y'all need to fix this. Y'all need to patch this, nerf this, get this out of the game, or whatever, as soon as y'all possibly can. And it's like you got Chris Manning up here making a defensive case for what's going on. I'm like, dog, he's showing people how to cheat, and instead you want to hotbox with me. See? That's the stuff that we're talking about right there. If you're going to be, I'm like, you're putting out this product to the public. Please don't be interactive for 1 week and then all of a sudden we don't see you again until several months down the line. Like, first of all, make sense with the points that you're making. Against whether it's for or against the game. Okay, that's one thing. Secondly, this video is exposing your game. You need to be pointing it out and saying, yo, you guys need to address this. Make sure this isn't something that's happening. So, and the funny thing is that once again, people can pretty much, I think they can just go ahead and VC their way through all of that. So that's what I like the point I'm just making is that, when it comes to interactivity, you got to present that humility, man. And be humble with it. Rex is even though Rex acts like a character on his live streams, he puts out a lot of valid information. See what I'm saying? I would love to see 2K do something like that. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about, we're doing this corporate NBA 2K live stream that we do every week. Like, no, I'm talking about just going on doing a stream just because at your house, you know what I'm saying, putting it out there, talking about the game in both positive and negative fashion. Not just, all right, let me get all the positive people here and we're going to go play. Like, no. You know what I'm saying? Deal with the disgruntled too. So, you know, but that's all I have to say. I'll throw it back to you, son.
Yeah, man, so much I want to say real quick, and then we'll move on. But there's a couple things I want to point out. Looking at this game, first of all, Zua already pointed it out. I've seen that actually happen in Madden. Now, before people get ahead of themselves, I'm not saying, oh, Madden does everything perfect. No, no, no. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is there's a lot of things that actually happens in the real sport that video games get beat up about. And my thing is, Smitty said this a long time ago, it's chaos that's kind of controlled, but it's dynamic. You never know what might happen, what player might, you never know that this guy on the D-line can actually get his hand up, knock it down, the next guy picks it up. It happens. And my problem with the Madden community, and it seems like a lot of sim guys are trickling down into this new community where they're getting offended or getting mad when actual football things happen. We got to stop doing that. Same thing with basketball. There's some things in 2K that I've seen happen in the real world, but there's definitely things that don't. But I just needed to point that out because there's another thing I noticed watching this game. Two things. The offensive line for the Broncos are doing a pretty good job running the ball. The Broncos have picked up 5, 6, 7 yards a pop at times, right? Goes back to Azur's point when guys say, I can't stop the run. It happens in the NFL. It happens, right? Also, I'm going to make a bold statement right here. The little bit of time that I'm seeing this guy, Simeon, he's going to end up, he looks to be better than the guy I'm about to say, but he's kind of reminding me of Landry Jones in this sense. Landry Jones, when he's confident, he does okay. Can throw the ball. He'll throw it downfield. He looks at his guys, kind of checks his progressions. But when he gets rattled, this dude, I feel like I could go play backup for the Steelers right now better than him when he's rattled because he just looks like that bad of a guy. I'm seeing a little bit of that out of Simeon already. And it could be because it's jitters. But look at this. Look at this run. They are killing Carolina's front line when they run the ball. But, guys, I'm seeing Simeon, it's like when he's comfortable, he's making nice passes. But it's like when things go awry a little bit, you can see it in his eyes. It's like he doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing. Now, some people will say, hey, man, this is the NFL game. I'm sure he's nervous. I'm sure. But think about some of the best quarterbacks you've ever seen. They don't never have that kind of look on their face. You know what I'm saying? They keep their composure. The best of the best guys. So I look at little stuff like that because it's very telling. What's one thing amongst many things that my father taught me growing up? Body language means a whole lot. It will tell you a lot about a person in a certain situation. Not saying that he can't play, because I'm seeing some positivity out of this guy too. Look, he's smiling now, but it's like he got a lot of mood swings going on. But I like the way he gets the ball out quick, nice check downs. I think he'll be decent. But it's just, I'm curious to see as the season goes on, what's going to happen when he starts getting touched. I think we're going to see Paxton Lynch? I think we're going to see him play this year. I have a strong feeling that guy is going to play sooner than later. But yeah, man, I don't know. In terms of the 2K thing, you're kind of right about that. Now, I told you, I reached out to OG earlier today. Me and him talked offline. That's my guy. Maybe he's just not as vocal on Twitter. Everybody's not the same, but I can get a hold of him. But guys like you said, and LD is cool with me. You know, I've never had any issues with him, but I don't want to see that from a community manager from 2K or EA. You know, you guys know, and I'll even say his name, and you know, we're cool. We all know Andrew Johnson, which we call him AJ. That's my guy. But I wouldn't want to see AJ like trying to diffuse everything with Madden, because you ain't supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? A community manager is supposed to give and receive. It ain't supposed to just be like, no, 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 no. I don't like that. So the day that Rex or Clint, as cool as I am with them, the day that they do that, I'm gonna have an issue with that. And of course, I would talk to them offline, like, hey man, I don't really like that. Excuse me. So that's why Smitty is pointing that out. I told you, man, we are. I hate to keep saying what we are, because a lot of times when you have to state what you're doing, it kind of sounds, it doesn't sound as authentic. But I gotta say this: there's not going to be too many more people in our position, meaning behind the scenes with EA and, you know, being in connection with other people at other companies, that's going to bring it as real as we bring it. Because we don't care who it is. We're going to call you on your BS, and we're going to give you respect and credit on your good stuff. So I don't like that either, Smitty. I'd rather see a guy being like, ooh, that ain't good. Let me holler at the guys. Brax and them do that. Oh, you know what? Matter of fact, in his stream, let's not get it twisted. Let's not act like we're naive. Sometimes some people could be doing things, like you said, to put on a show. We know that. But I don't have any reason to question Rex or Clint. Because everything they've said to me, or everything they've said on Twitter, everything Rex says in his stream, they do. I know for a fact when he streams and he says, oh, I got to take a look at that tomorrow, he going to take a look at it. Because we know. We know how many hours some of these guys spend in that studio. We've been out to dinner with a scant, and he's like, yo, I got to head back to the studio. It's like 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Yep.
So that's why I can say this with confidence, like, they ain't blowing you no smoke. And Rex will definitely acknowledge, A-Dub, all of these guys will acknowledge what they don't do well. That's all Smitty is saying. So I don't want anybody to twist this up and act like, oh, there he go back. Nobody's bashing. I want 2K to be, I will say this real quick, Smitty, before we go to the next topic. I'll be the first one to say this. Y'all can record this if you like. I'll even wait a second. Let y'all get y'all recorders ready. All right. I'm the first one to say this. I give NBA 2K a hard time because I think that game is too great not to be great. It's too good of a game to let little stuff plague it. That game on the surface is phenomenal. Think about it. The details, the modes, the graphics, the animation, the control as far as the fluidity. But those same things plague the game. And that's why I'm so hard on them, because I want that game to be great, because it's right there. You've heard me say it. You've heard Apex say it. It's right there. So we get way more frustrated with 2K because we like, yo, y'all are a walking possible GOAT. Walking legends. Right? I mean, you're right there. With Madden, I understand they still trying to catch up. Madden ain't where 2K at. Not overall. They're not there. But they're coming. They're coming. I think we all can agree. That game it ain't the same Madden we talked about 3 years ago. Madden is coming. But they are not where 2K is. They're not where NHL is. They're not where FIFA is. PES even. As far as just on the court, on the field, not even fundamentals, because Madden has fundamentals. Let's just say replication. They still need some work in that area with the movement and stuff like that before they can catch these other products that are doing it a bit better. 2K, however, is not as far ahead as people think. As far as consistency and fluidity, I have PES, NHL, and FIFA ahead of that game, in my opinion. Because there's some stuff that go on when you connect that's just like, whoa, that don't happen in PES. 2K17, verdict is still out, but like I said, I've already seen one of my biggest pet peeves happen already. But that's why I'm so hard on it, because I want that game to be phenomenal. It's very close. So I don't want anybody ever to never get this twisted when y'all hear us go, because you know people will jump in and they say, oh, they're going on a rant. Oh, they're no, we're not. We do this. We even in this particular show tonight, we've talked about the lack that where Madden lacks. So we treat all of these games the same. It's just that 2K is so close, man. They so close.
Just like any good coach, you harder on the players that you see the greatest potential in. And you always
Absolutely.
say, my coach would always say, worry when I don't say something to you.
Right.
So for 2K to be right there and we see it and them still not reach it, it's very frustrating because we've been with this game and this company for a while. And we know what they can do in sports. I mean, hey, arguably the greatest, game developer, sports developer overall, with
Yeah.
having football and basketball at least. Um, so, and we the same way with Madden. We hard on them too. We probably seen as less hard because our harder is in the studio or it's throughout the year, as opposed because we not in 2K's building.
Right.
All the stuff that we have to say about 2K is heard on the show, in videos, that kind of stuff. To whereas if we was in the building, we would probably be seen as we not as hard on them as we used to be. Because that's what people say about how our stance is with EA, but we just as critical, if not more. And
Ask Rex.
yeah.
Go ask Rex how we are when we in there. Y'all do that. Ask them how is the sim standard when they in the building.
Because honestly, they will. Not that it's clicks and all that kind of stuff, but if we all down there together, we sitting by each other because we want to talk to each other and say, "Hey, yo, look at this. Yo, check this out. Smitty, look at this. Sim, look at this." And when it comes down to it, when they come down for the feedback, we all sitting right there. They look at us and they're like, "Okay, Sim standard guys, what do you think?" So I don't know, man. We know 2K is right there, and we want to see them achieve it all the way. With all, like Sim said, with all the great stuff that they bring to the table, and how phenomenal they are with modes and all the stuff, we want to see them strive in gameplay. And to me, I don't feel like they're striving in gameplay. I just feel like they just keep adding and like, okay, this is good, but let's go. Who's the move for physics in Madden was an all-out move. I want to see them do an all-out move, honestly. So
Yeah, man, that's absolutely true. We want greatness, man, because I mean we can pretty much kind of say that to some degree. I mean I'm looking in here and DJ, shout outs to that man DJ81. He says PES, NHL, and NBA 2K7 all next week. Wow, exactly. So that's why we want all of these games. Like we're not in that mindset of 2K did this and EA did this. Listen, that's why y'all don't hear me go down that road no more. This guy's still doing that, but why? Like Azul said earlier today, and I'm gonna say it here. 2K football is dead and gone, man, until it comes back. And there was something that was said in Rex's stream. I wonder did y'all catch it? He was asked about 2K's license. Did y'all hear what he said? Did you hear what he said? At this point, all they have to do is approach the NFL and come up with the money. Now, one could say, how do we know if that's true? Valid point. But why would he say that publicly? Why would you say that? Because that not only gives false information on 2K, but also the NFL and EA all alike. So I feel like I have to believe that. Maybe that's where the come at me, bro, came from. I'm just saying. He said those exact words in that interview. Y'all remember that? Come at me, bro. Pay, get your money, pay for the license. So I'm just saying. Maybe that's real. Y'all remember when I told y'all I had some insider that was giving me some information saying that, yo, we're hearing that the NFL might be open to just seeing. That all is coming together now. Now, like I said, I can't confirm it, but so my point is this. Until 2K makes another football game, what they did in the past, who cares? Do I still, I reference it? Yeah, we all do. But I'm not going to be going back and forth with somebody, oh, this, who cares? Go play that.
It's dead. It's dead until they revive it themselves. It's dead.
It's dead.
There's nothing new coming out of it. There's no new innovations. Nothing that jerseys and rosters is all you can do for that game. It's dead.
It's dead. DJ, you crazy. But yeah, that's all. I just had to say that real quick, man, because let's just focus on what they have. Let's talk about 2K basketball. That's relevant. Not 2K football. It's a mute point. And I feel like if there's, I'll say this, if there's anything that any of us here liked about 2K football, pitch that to the devs for Madden, because Madden is the only game we got. Like it ain't gonna get us nowhere saying, "See, they did it best." So what? I'm not playing that game. Maybe some of y'all are. They got these the Scorpion and all this coming out now. You know how many consoles ago? Like I'm not playing them games no more. So that's all I would say. Like I pitched them just this year an idea for 18 from NFL Fever. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But you don't see me playing FIFA and saying, see, this game is better. Come on, buddy. Come on now. It's not. It's not better. It might have had some features, but man, anyway, let's move on, man. Smitty, the next topic here on the bill. What I found out, man, this is very interesting, and I got some information from Dustin, and I'm going to try to read it to y'all the best I can. We're still trying to get this confirmed because I know I need to double check with Clint. But shout outs to PX1. No, I'm sorry. Madden Bomber League. I'm not sure which one of you guys run that actual account, but you know who you are. You hit me up with this information as a topic tonight. Apparently, and I want you guys to go look at this. Apparently, on defense, or all players from what he said, their play rec and their awareness is the exact same number. So if a guy has an 88 awareness, he's going to have an 88 play rec. If he's a 70 awareness, it's going to be 70 play rec. So I inquired in on that, and I was like, why is that? And is this by design? All right, and 205, my bad, man. I'm just seeing your email. I'm gonna shoot it to you right after I say this, and we'll bring you right in after these guys comment. So what I was told was that is true, but it has the play rec and awareness is helping to drive run fits in defense in that regard. It has nothing to do with the ball in the air or anything like that in pass coverage. Now, I'm double checking with Clint because I know Clint deals with that mechanic as well, even though, Dustin is the ratings guy. He said, I'm pretty sure it has nothing to do with coverage. Let's double check with Clint. I hit up Clint, haven't heard back from him yet. I'm sure he's busy. But I saw some other guys on Twitter say the same thing, that they were told that it has nothing to do with the ball being in the air, et cetera, et cetera. So he answered that question, and I was like, okay, that makes sense, but I'm going to end with this, and I'll throw it to Smitty. This is why, and I've told these guys this is why we really need a guide on a yearly basis of what ratings do what. Because what I was also trying to explain to a guy on Twitter today, and you probably hear in the show, he wanted to know, well, why doesn't play rec work on the offense? My response to you would be, the way they build their formulas is no telling what drives what. You understand what I'm saying? So play rec might not be an offensive trait. They may have another trait on offense that would be the play recognition, so to speak. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Because that matrix that they have with their ratings, we've seen it before in prior years, and one of the reasons why it's not public is because it changes. They did do it. Y'all remember when they showed us that article? I think it was Madden 25, that Mutt article that kind of showed what some of the ratings do. I've been asking for them to create something bigger and better to bring to us again. But my point is, everything is not one-to-one that we're finding out. And these are the things that we need to know, especially guys who like to tinker with sliders and ratings, because I never knew that. I didn't even notice that. So I would have questioned that as well. I'd be like, why is it the same number? What? Because my man's point was Lawrence Timmons. He said, man, Lawrence Timmons is like a 57 zone coverage, but he's an 80 or 88 play rec and awareness. And he's like, this is why he's making so many plays in coverage. But then when I double checked that, I was advised that no, that, basically their speed, and hold on, let me see if I can find it here, guys. Give me just a second. Basically their coverage rating and their speed should kind of help them get to where they need to be in pass coverage. So that still doesn't really explain why my man in Madden Bomber Leagues is saying that Timmons is all over the field, which he is in real life, but he is weak in pass coverage. So my question was, how do we reflect that? So as you guys can see, there's always discussion going on, and I wanted to share that with you guys, man, mainly because the Madden Bomber Leagues guy wanted us to talk about that tonight. So what you think, Smitty, man? From what you're hearing, do you agree with what I said as far as that those formulas, you just never know what's calculating what, and just what is your take on that in general?
Well, I don't, it's really hard. Like it's really a hard call in terms of my thoughts in that regard. I mean, you know how I am when it comes to ratings and all that good stuff. I'm all about the, ability taking the forefront.
Right.
Having badges and showcasing skills and having them leveled up in, various tiers and stuff. That's what I'd rather have. Give me something like that and we can rock out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really that's what I said, like the number ratings. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with having it when it systematically is working right, but it's like, how, is this something that is, is this something that would be good to have, into the game, like to keep that thing going and build it out more and more? Because remember, one of the main things we were saying when Donnie Moore was rating games, okay, was that, man, they need to compress it down. It needs to be tighter criteria when it comes to these player skill ratings.
Mm-hmm.
When now we're talking about how we want it to be broadened to cover all these various aspects of player skill. So it's like, how would you truly be able to depict that, in the video game? And that's what we're talking about, having a whole, the whole AI aspect of things. AI and visual aspect of things as far as how they all play out. That's where it's like they use those numbers there instead of just giving a hard set ability and you just got to roll with the punches. But like I was saying before, well, like I've said, previously, I should say, in previous shows, is that when, excuse me, when, you look at scouting reports for these players, whether seasoned or rookie, you can correlate things that they rate them on and say, okay, these are the rating criteria based off of what was talked about in the draft when it comes to these particular players. That's cool, but to truly get it right, it's like you just show up and, you know, you don't have all that extra stuff. You don't have those extra numbers to run behind. You know what I'm saying? That would be awesome. And once again, that's why I got to give great props to APF 2K8 in that regard, because that's, you know what I mean, that system right there, that's literally the blueprint. You know, we didn't know anything about the numbers until the hex editing started. See, so that's all, but that's really all the take that I have on it. I mean, you can throw it to AZ.
AZ.
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Okay.
Sorry, got a little brotherly situation going on over here. I'll try to be quick. But no, go ahead, man. Let me take care of this.
All right.
Yeah, man, no problem. But definitely want to, you know, first let me just shout out Cam Newton on that play he just made there. And see, this right here, Smitty, I don't know if you're watching the game. This is still missing from the game, man, from Madden, is the way quarterbacks move in the pocket. I mean, I know you're never going to replicate it fully, but I still, again, y'all are hearing me say something that I like from 2K football. Even though it's dead, this is how I mention 2K. I still love the way the quarterbacks moved in the pocket in that game. Randall Cunningham, I mean, and it ain't even got to be Randall. I had a generic guy that was masterful. I mean, his footwork and just the fluidity of the movement, we still need that in Madden. I tell him that all the time. You know what I'm saying? So just watching the game, man, you again, we're looking at human beings, but it's still stuff that you can see that you want to see semi-replicated in the game to the best ability. And, you know, so it's little stuff like that. But, you know, the ability system, man, that has to come into play. It has to come into play, man. And they think, you know, you think that at some point the philosophy at Madden was they believed in that with Madden '08. Rex and those guys weren't on the team then, so you never know where their thought process is. I won't dive into that because we've had conversation. Smitty knows that, so certain things I'm just not going to jump into because I don't want to cross any line. What y'all do know is Rex has stated on the show that they definitely want to look into different forms of rating and things like that. I will say they acknowledge that we have to find better ways to define what these guys do. I'll leave it up to them as to how they're going to do it. So I won't go any further. But, yeah, wow, look at Von Miller getting held. But, yeah, man, that's the answer. 2K8 was it. You're seeing it in NBA 2K. You know, I mean, and even in NBA 2K, it's like 2K8 on steroids as far as how many badges and different types, especially in this game, where it's so many different types of positions and then different attributes. It's like Madden could do it. They could definitely do that same thing. They have traits already. Just keep the same terminology. Traits. Just add more of them. That's all. And if you can do that, we're getting somewhere. Because we know Madden 17 and 16 play more to traits. Ratings are still relatively important, but there are more traits because you're seeing, and I actually am seeing this, Smitty, in 17, certain guys can't do certain things. I am definitely seeing that, which is great. Now we just need you to continue down that path. Spread it out. Spread it out. Wow, man, we covered a lot, man. So we got roughly 16 minutes left, even though there's no real time constraint, man. I think we can definitely dive into a couple other topics. I haven't had a chance to play PES yet, and you kind of mentioned, you know, how you feel about that. So I guess we can go to one of the things that we both probably have played. You know, want to get your thoughts, Smitty, on, you know, the Battlefield 1 beta. And AZ, if you can hear me, man, if you want to come in after Smitty If you're back, definitely do that. If not, of course we got it. But yeah, Smitty, man, what were your thoughts on the beta? Likes, dislikes, if you have any, and did you see anything from that game? I know we asked this question last week, but after really playing it a little bit, did you see anything in that game that you really could see translate into a Madden or FIFA, in terms of the whole frostbite aspect?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'll just say that in terms of the game in general, I definitely do enjoy the game. Like, it's definitely going to be a purchase for me. May not necessarily be launch day, but it definitely is a worthy game in that regard. The big issue that I have with it is the bullet damage. Bullet damage is ridiculously way too low in the game. You know what I'm saying? And when the damage should be, it needs to be a whole lot higher. They had it done right in Battlefield 4. So it's like, why in Battlefield 1, they have it where it basically plays like Call of Duty. Like, guys can be charging at you with the bayonetta, and you can shoot at them and hit them like 2 or 3 good times, and they still able to charge right through, take you out, and keep running along. See what I'm saying? Now, pop in Battlefield 4 and try and do that. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Oh, excuse me. So it's like the game has, and see, this is once again core gameplay integrity that we're talking about. Core gameplay is pretty good from experiences and everything. But they get that bullet damage on point and get it right there how it is like Battlefield 4. Them dudes are set. Them dudes are set without question. Now, as far as what can be added in, those weather effects. I mean, the weather effect, here it is, weather effects and legitimate field degradation. Because, I mean, you see sinkholes, potholes, craters of all kinds of sizes on the maps when them tanks roll through shooting at the ground and grenades and bombs hit the ground, everything. You see all that happen. We need to see the exact same thing happening with the sports games. We need to see, the ground they run on and everything getting all kinds of tore up, whether it's rain, snow, all that. Okay. But then when we look at what is it? Like you look at FIFA, you can tighten up that crowd noise. You can tighten up the action on the field, like the sounds of it, because just like you heard all the bullet sounds, the gun sounds, people running, you hear the footsteps and all that stuff. Give us that same kind of immersive detail in, the sports arena. Via using Frostbite, of course, here. They do that, I believe it's a wrap. So, I'll throw it to AZ.
This just in, I'm super trash at Battlefield. I popped in the beta.
It's a learning curve, man.
I popped in the beta just thinking, I'm gonna play around a little bit, see what I can do. Man, I swear, I only played it one time. I only had a little bit of time to play. I was like 1 in 13, dog. People was picking me off, shooting me from tanks. It was not a good showing for your boy. But I have not played in a long time, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to put some more time in it. It's not like the game is trash. I was trash, so you won't hear me bashing it because I'm not good at it.
Yeah, man, and it's definitely a learning curve. Guys who watch me stream it would have heard me say this a million times.
Yeah.
I'm not a great Battlefield player. I'm not going to be a Westie. Shout outs to Westie. Love that guy. I'm not going to be a 21-2 or consistently a 16-3. It's just not my game. When I get the hang of the game, like Battlefield 4, I become a solid team member. You'll have a game from me where I go 10-5. Sometimes, I mean, I should have posted it. I actually still got it. My very last Battlefield 4 game, was phenomenal. I actually had like a 19-4 game. I don't know how it happened, but I'm going to, when I get consistent, I'm pretty much going to be that guy. A few more kills than deaths. Every now and then I might do a 7-10. That's just me. But in Battlefield 1, the learning curve was crazy. Now, I'm going to chime in on what Azure said, because here's one of my things that I don't want to say is a dislike, but I'm not quite sure about it. Some of you guys, I'm actually going to reach out to a guy like Westy that I know plays it ridiculously. I know DJ here, he probably can answer this. I'm not a traditional snipe guy, but for some reason in the beta, it just seemed overly easy to me. When you look at where people were at, and I'm like, come on, are they that good already? I mean, it was just...
Not only was it easy, but it was everybody's preferred method.
Yeah.
Of shooting somebody.
Yeah, I didn't like that, man. I mean, like I said, now if some of you guys can answer that, if that's how it always is, fine. I just got to get my game up. And I start getting the groove a little later. I start knowing how to duck and dodge and stuff like that, but it just seemed like a little too easy. It just seemed that way. I could be wrong. Outside of that, man, I don't have a whole lot of problems with the game. I'll be the first to say this. I am not and this is my boy, I am not a jive turkey. What I mean by that probably sounds funny with me saying that. I'm talking about the YouTuber jive turkey. Me saying I'm not a jive turkey, I know y'all can make some funny jokes about that, but I'm not like jive. I'm not a jive in terms of shooters where this guy knows shooters ins and outs, goods, bads, the negatives. I'm just not that type of shooter gamer. I love a good shooter, but I just like having fun, running around, blasting. So I might not notice some of those intricate things that are wrong with the game. So for me, you're not going to get a whole lot of negatives except for the obvious stuff. Like Smitty said, it did seem like the hit detection was the bullet damage was a little spotty. However, when I started getting the hang of it, in certain guns, it seemed like I was dropping people 2 or 3 shots. Because I mean, Dez is in here. Dez was playing with me one time. He was like, yo, I don't know if Dez said it, but it was another guy that, follows us. He's probably in here. He was like, yo, how you do that? I can't kill nobody. Just so happens sometimes. So maybe the consistency factor isn't there. But overall, man, it's definitely a purchase for me. Y'all know that's the one game I will say I'm biased about. I love Battlefield. I've been that way since Battlefield Bad Company 2, and seems like I am always going to be that way. Positive things that definitely could be taken. Smitty said them. Weather, come on. That sandstorm, here's my idea for a game like Madden. Maybe even FIFA, but we play Madden. So the weather thing comes back, right? And here's all kinds of immersion. We got that weather channel thing in there like NCAA had. Maybe more importantly, we might have one of those, a break-in where there's a weather report. And somebody's like, oh, well, the game today, we got to see how it plays out because they're calling for rain. It could be a light shower, or it could be downpours. All of a sudden, the weather just comes in out of the blue, and it is a downpour. Now we can't throw the ball. Guys can't run the ball because they're scared to fumble. The kicking game is affected. Just imagine how that sandstorm played out in Battlefield. Smitty actually mentioned this when I talked to him before. You could see the storm coming. You could literally see it in the distance, like, uh-oh, here come that storm. So imagine that being in a game like FIFA or Madden. Ridiculous. And the degradation. I don't know what happened to it in Madden. Do y'all? It seemed like Madden 25 had it better than this. I don't know what happened. The jerseys don't seem to get as dirty. I remember in 25, them joints was getting crazy dirty. We was down in the studio, And they were saying we might have to turn that back a little. And I'm like, why? Because, at the time they were saying it might be overkill. I was like, bruh, for who? Everybody should know if it's raining, there's mud on the ground. What these players, look what some of these players look like right now just because they hit the grass. They got stains all over the place. So I'm going to be really big on them about that whenever they make that leap. And I'm going to be looking at FIFA to see if these things are occurring, because FIFA has it this year. It has frostbite. So to me, the visual component of weather, living worlds, and all of that stuff is what I'm expecting you should really see in frostbite. But as far as Battlefield, yeah, I would definitely say the weather and the degradation and all of that stuff. That's what I took from seeing Frostbite producing that, and I want to see in these sports titles. But 5 minutes left, guys. I guess we can throw another topic in here and try to finish up the night. Let me see what else we had here. Oh, I'll say this one, and I'll throw it to Smitty, and Azua can finish it up. And guys, I guess that'll be it for the night. Why isn't anybody talking about NHL? There's only a few guys. DJ81, Bills. But why is this? It seems like, guys, is hockey not popular, or what is it? It seems like nobody is really talking about the game. Even when I was at EA Play, there was really no mention of it. It seemed like nobody really cared. And that game, on the surface, is probably one of the best products that EA Sports has. In my opinion, fluidity-wise, I even think it's more fluid at this current moment than FIFA. As far as the 17 games, we're going to see.
Yeah, because it's more sliding. You don't really have to do footwork
exactly
as much as you have to do in FIFA and football and basketball. But yeah, I would argue that too. It's right up there. It's one of my favorite EA games, or just sports games, period, honestly.
What you think, Smitty, man? Why NHL not getting no love? Or are we overlooking that game as far as what it brings to the table?
No, I mean the problem is that NHL does not get the reception. And I would definitely say, like, when it comes to the United States, what I'm saying, like, it's more internationally received, and I mean not to the extent of like FIFA is, but to some kind of degree, people are going to gravitate toward it in those certain circumstances instead of in general. So, like, I mean, there's a guy I'm sub to on YouTube, Bacon Country. That's basically the guy that I would look at outside of like my dudes DJ, or Bills, because like they pay attention to hockey enough to really let me know some things. When I do, watch, like, if I were to watch an actual game or I'm just playing, you know what I mean? So, yeah, but NHL is more internationally received. I mean, who pays attention to their skill challenges and everything during the All-Star break? You see what I'm saying? Like, no one pays attention to that degree to what not FIFA, what that game has to offer.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. And DJ actually just made a good point. I was about to text it, but might as well say it. He said he feels like people don't want to learn the sport. And you know what? I might have to agree with him on that. I think the community that we are addressing ain't interested. Soccer might be a little hard, a little easier, I guess, because it's on a field and you can kind of relate it to football, which it is football, but you know what I'm saying. But DJ might be onto something there, man. Maybe people are not willing to actually learn hockey.
Right.
I'm still struggling with trying to figure out the rules and all that, but I'm a gamer, and I'm a sports gamer. And like I have been saying since day one, I look at all of these games to see how Madden could pull from them. Because Madden and NBA 2K are the two main games that most of us here play.
Yeah.
Point blank. And as we wrap up the show, I'm looking at Cam Newton here. This is why weight, physical mass, and ability has to find its way into Madden. There's no Cam Newton in Madden. I mean, you do have him, yes, but the game to me is not quite to the point where because he's a big boy like that, you can run with him, and because I mean, it could be, but I don't think it's quite like that to where because he's big, he gonna just bowl over some of these little corners or smaller safeties. Don't fumble that much because y'all know how the Madden thing works, and I'm gonna tie 2 points together here. I still don't like the fact that fumbles are tied to hit stick. I hate that. Nobody has really confirmed that, but it is. That's the only time you really, not only, but most of the time, it's a lot of times especially in the older Maddens. I can't always say this about 17, but usually when you come down that kickoff or punt return, the fumble is coming. It never really seemed organic to me. So I say that to say this. When you run with a quarterback, most of them dudes going to cough it up. And Cam would probably be in the same situation. I haven't tried it, so some of y'all can correct me on that in 17. But I think y'all understand what I'm trying to say, where we can't necessarily replicate what Cam did here tonight on this last drive of the first half. Can't really do that.
And I honestly don't like that they tuned down the fumble frequency.
Yeah.
If you have a guy who doesn't have a good carry rating, and I come up from behind you and pop that ball should be coming out.
Should be coming out.
It's just like, how people were upset that on the strip sacks. I'm sorry. For too long, that was an incompletion in Madden, and it should have been, and people got used to it. That is a strip sack, homie. Like, you should be, that's either a turnover or, your offensive line or somebody scoops it up. And what a catch right there by Olsen. But that's what I'm saying. Like, people who worry about man coverage, you can't cover everybody on every play. Like, it's not real. It's not real.
Ain't real.
So, I mean, I understand the bugs with the man coverage and giving up, certain routes. But for you that just want to play man coverage and don't want to learn defensive coverages, that's on you. You know what I mean? Because I played against some people in MUT who have some elite corners or red star corners, and they shutting it down.
Yeah.
As if I play somebody who doesn't have an elite corner, then they might give up some plays, and that is true to life. So I don't understand people being upset with man coverage. Like I said, if you're talking about it not exploit-wise, with it, some stuff not covering certain routes. But if you just want to run man coverage all game and you mad that people are getting open, you need to look at your matchups and who you have on your team. You can't do that. Like, every game is not to be played the same. Like, if you play the Vikings the same way you play the Patriots, that's on you. You didn't adjust. I mean, there's some things that you have to have your eyes open to. Oh, okay, why is my defensive end not getting in the backfield this game? Oh, he's going against an elite left tackle. Like, this is stuff that you people need to recognize. Like, and I don't know, man. We just continue to evolve as a community, hopefully, and us having these conversations hopefully helps. But I do think that people need to notice and pay attention to what's going on the field and their matchups and personnel and all that kind of stuff, because that stuff matters in football, and now it matters in Madden.
Absolutely, man. And before we end the show, I want to thank the 2 individuals who disliked the video because, your opinion is valid as well. So thank you. But just to finish up, man, it's funny how us, the Sim crowd, we play these games, in a sim manner, and we come down and we break down why this happened, why that happened. And I'm glad Azure said that because MyCareer says this stuff all the time as well. I actually posted a game, I believe, where I was playing against a guy who had Sherman on one side, and I didn't throw it to him. I utilized my other matchups, and I was able to matriculate down the field, and I won the game. It's like I said, Madden has a lot of real world principles. It's just that the issues that we all, three of us, and all of you guys still have with Madden is they could do a better job with replicating things and expanding on what they have. But there's definitely a lot of football that you can apply in Madden 17 and be successful. And if you say that that's not possible, I don't know what to tell you. So, unless the fellas got anything else to say, I think that's going to be a wrap on tonight's show. Smitty, AZ, y'all got any last words before we sign off?
No, ain't got nothing else.
Appreciate the support as always. People participating, coming through, and hanging out. I didn't get to hang out in the chat in the video, but I'm sure that like you said, DJ and all the others that are in there chatting it up through this hangout, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate the support and the conversations on Twitter as well, man. As we continue to talk about football, hope everyone enjoys their weekend. Watch some football, college football, pro football, high school football, Pee Wee League football, whatever. It's football season, man. So, crack open a cold one, get you some pizza, some whatever you do, pretzels, beer, whatever, and enjoy, man. Be safe.
Absolutely, man. And I'm gonna finish watching this game. I wanted to stream, the what you call it, the prelude, but for some reason, yeah, I probably won't do. I mean, so far they've left the video alone. I guess some of that could be attributed to the fact that I reached out, to a dev and was like, yo, I got it. Plus, it's out technically. If I actually lived in New Zealand, it's out. So how could you? But yeah, I probably won't. But the reason why I say that anyway is I saw a guy streaming it about a few hours ago. Today I tried, and it said I couldn't stream from the PS4 through that application. But I think it's probably because it was my alternate account, and it probably didn't have that linkage.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably why it gave me, because this guy I saw was streaming from his PS4. Mm-hmm. And yes, and guys, this is the last thing I'm gonna say, man. I don't know if y'all saw it. If any of you guys saw that video I posted about my Elgato and my mic, I don't know what to do, man.
Yeah.
It used to work just fine to answer some of you guys' questions. Even if I use the internal mic on the computer, it's still it's still like that robotic voice. I don't know why it's doing that. I have a MacBook Pro 2012 edition. It's an i5 processor, whatever I don't know all those terms, but I don't know why it's not working. It used to work. If any of you guys can go check that video out, give me some tips, because I really would like to stream through the Elgato so I could use the the little overlay stuff. I figured out how to create a little one, just to jazz it up a little bit. I might have to look into the OBS thing, but I don't know if it's still going to be a problem, because if I'm not mistaken, Smitty, maybe you can tell me this. When you use OBS, don't you still, like, it's capturing what's on your screen from your capture software, right?
Well, no, you're capturing it through the program based off of what you have it set to. Like, if you're setting it for the desktop, then it's going to capture it through, it's going to capture everything on the desktop. But when you talk about audio outputs and inputs, you should only have one, unless you got like a webcam like I do. And the audio can double over because, the camera's got a mic. So then you got to cut that off. But otherwise, though, no, like the audio comes out just fine. Because it took me a while to configure it, but still, it's not. And I'm talking about that was just in general, but excuse me, but no, the OBS it's not. Like if you got your headphones set up, you know, if it's through your headphones that the audio and all that comes through, you should be able to just set it and that's it. You don't have to necessarily set it for the TV.
All right, I'm gonna look into that. So let me make sure I know this correctly.
Yeah.
The OBS is capturing my video from my software, right? So it would be basically taking the feed that's going to OBS is coming from the Elgato as far as the visual effect. Is that correct? Because otherwise, how is it capturing what? I've never used OBS, so I just want to know how is it capturing the gameplay. It's got to be coming from my stream, my software, right?
Yeah. Like you gotta be using well, no, because the Elgato you gotta hook up to the computer. So if you're running it through the computer and it's showing up on your desktop, then you don't necessarily have to use like the Elgato software then. Like I know there's tutorials online about how to set up your PlayStation or Xbox One through OBS, even with using Elgato. So yeah, you'd have to check that out. Cause I mean I don't have one yet. So I mean right now I'm just doing just the PC gameplay, but there's I'm pretty sure there's a way to set it for your console. So in that way you just put it through and then it'll go. You know what I'm saying? You'll be able to see it going through the Elgato. So probably, I don't know. But see, the only difference is I don't know if you have to use the Elgato software. Like if it'll let you use the Elgato software when it comes to streaming, and if you just use OBS and you just configure it accordingly and then stream through that, stream or record through that.
Yeah, I think you don't. What I get from it is I guess the Elgato is not the software itself, but using the Elgato is where my gameplay shows on my desktop. So then I guess I would put that in the OBS box, and then that's what streamed out. I guess that's how it would work. Because otherwise, how does it get the gameplay from the TV to OBS? So yeah, I guess that's how you would do it.
Yeah, that'd be my guess. But yeah, like I said, there's some tutorials. Like I know there's some out there because that was one of the first things I looked up regarding OBS was because it's used for computer, but I'm like, can you do it for the console too? Because I'd like to. And yeah, so like there are some videos out there, so I definitely want to use that because the quality comes out real well through the OBS. So.
Yeah, I'll take a look into that then. In the meantime, and hopefully I'll try it out, and hopefully the mic works correctly. If not, I'll just have to continue streaming from the PS4. So sorry guys for that little extra convo, but I'm glad you guys are still here. We thank everybody for coming through. Thanks for all of you guys that say we did a good job on the show. Y'all did a good job as well. Without you guys, there's no show. So we appreciate it, everyone. Have a great weekend. Enjoy football. Good luck to all of your teams. But we know somebody got to lose. But watch the rest of this game, and we'll be back at you guys.
Damn Standard Radio League starts tomorrow, baby.
Yes, sir. As soon as those rosters drop, we on there. So look out for those games, man. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it, man. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.